Good evening and welcome. I will now call the special board meeting of July 21st, 2025 to order. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations that have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school boards and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Islands First Nation, the Mississaugas people, and the treaty territory of the Chippewa of Georgina Islands First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, there are no declarations of interest at this time. Can I please have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as distributed? Thank you, Trustee Edwards, and thank you, Trustee Jacula. All in favour? Thank you. The agenda is approved as distributed. We have two agenda items this evening, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Martine Robinson to introduce the first report of the appointment of the new Indigenous trustee.
Good evening, and through you, Chair. The report can be found on pages 1 to 3 of your package this evening. The Durham District School Board remains committed to honoring and strengthening relationships with Indigenous communities. In alignment with the Education Act and with Ontario Regulation 462-97, this report outlines the recommendation to appoint Mr. Chad Cowie as Indigenous trustee following the nomination by the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, our treaty partner. Mr. Chad Cowie is an assistant professor at the University of Toronto and a member of the Hiawatha First Nation. He brings with him a strong background in political science and Indigenous governance, having worked with the Chiefs of Ontario and conducted extensive research on Indigenous political participation and reconciliation. This appointment reflects the board's ongoing commitment to inclusive governance and ensures the continuation of First Nation, Métis, and/or Inuit representation at the DDSB trustee level. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Robinson. Do we have a trustee willing to move and second the recommended motion contained in this report? Thank you, Trustee Arsenault. Thank you, Trustee Edwards. Is there any discussion of the motion? I should actually read that motion. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees appoint Chad Cowie as an Indigenous trustee to the DDSB Board of Trustees for the remainder of the 2022 to 2026 term as selected by the Mississaugas of Scugog Islands First Nation. Is there any discussion on the motion? Trustee Edwards.
Just so pleased that we have this appointment has come forward because we've been missing the voice around the table. So just so pleased to have that. And just another comment that once the trustee is appointed, that if we could forward the name on to OPSPA as well, so that they could forward it on to the Indigenous Advisory Committee, so they can welcome him to that committee as well and give him all the information that for the OPSPA Indigenous Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Trustee Morton.
Just a comment. I want to say that I'm definitely supporting this motion because we need to have that Indigenous voice at the table. So thank you to all of those who worked on this, and I am grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now call the vote. All those in favour? Online? Thank you. That motion is carried. I would like to invite Trustee Morton as chair of the Director of Education Performance Appraisal Committee to bring forward the recommendations from the committee following completion of the 2024-2025 cycle of work.
Thank you, Chair. The Director of Education Performance Appraisal Committee has now completed the Director's Annual Appraisal Report for the year 24-25. The final report has been provided to all members of the board. In accordance with the board's Director of Education Performance Appraisal Policy and Ontario Regulation 83/24 under the Education Act, the board is to adopt the final report by way of resolution, with the contents of the report remaining confidential. So I put forward the motion that the Board of Trustees adopt the Director's Performance Appraisal Report.
Thank you, Trustee Morton. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Vice Chair Oldfield. Is there any discussion of the motion? Oh, thank you. I will now call the vote. All those in favour? Any opposed? Thank you. That motion is carried. Trustee Morton.
I would like to make one further comment, and that is to thank those 7 trustees who served on the Director Performance Appraisal Committee during this year. Their efforts are greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Morton. Seeing no further business, can I please have a mover and seconder to adjourn this meeting? Thank you, Trustee Jacula, and thank you, Trustee Oldfield. All in favour? This meeting is now adjourned.